Welcome to Finding Certainty with your host and U.S. Army veteran, Patrick Lang. Over the next hour, you'll learn from Patrick and his expert guests how to attract more certainty into your business and your life. Now, here is your host, Patrick Lang.
Welcome to Finding Certainty. It's our favorite day of the week. Get to meet with interesting guests, proven experts, and every now and then, the first Friday of each month, you get to hear just from me as I do my Finding Certainty monologue. So I've been working through the alphabet this year, from accountability to balance, composure, discipline, etc. Up to integrity. That's the topic I did in September. And integrity is an interesting question, right? We all think about it. We think about, how can I have better integrity? I mean, am I working with someone who has integrity? Am I surrounded by people with integrity? And oftentimes that's the case, but unfortunately, far too often, it's not the case. There's a lot of problems out there, a lot of issues with identity theft and cyber attacks and so forth and so on. So as we are approaching Cybersecurity Awareness Month, which is one of the topics for the month of October, we decided to do a continuation of our previous interviews with Mr. James Harrison from Invisus and his product iDefend. If you're a follower of Frank Helring's show, BizZne BuzZ, you know, initially James met with me here on Finding Certainty, and we talked a little bit about his story and his product. And then just last week, he met with Frank on BizZne BuzZ, and they broke the topic down even further as they addressed how these issues of identity theft, cybersecurity, technology protection, and more are affecting business, are affecting seniors, and so forth. We decided to do one more. Call this the other bookend, or at the end of the conversation. We wanted to invite James to come back, and on this interview, we're going to be addressing these topics from three different perspectives. I have my colleague Andy Tenney, who's a senior vice president with Certainty Management, a partner in Certainty Global, and we have Frank Helring with us, who is co-founder of Certainty Global. When I talk about these three perspectives, I'm coming from an empty nester. My children are all grown up and moved out, and I'm a business owner. Andy's a business owner as well, an executive, but he's also a father with small children at home. And Frank, he's the senior in the bunch. Not only is he a business owner and an entrepreneur and a philanthropist, but he's the gray hair in the bunch. So we're gonna hear his perspective from the senior population, because we know they are under attack. So, James, thanks for being with us again. You're putting up with us one more week. We appreciate you taking the time.
It's a pleasure, Patrick. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Pleased to be here.
Absolutely. Well, you know, it's not very often we have a guest on even twice, let alone three times, and it says it's a nod to how important this topic is. You know, we feel really strongly that we need to get this word out, talking about finding certainty in our lives, right? This is an area where there is a great deal of uncertainty, both here in the States as well as abroad. Just to introduce James and his company, if you haven't heard the previous shows, James is the founder and owner of a company named Invisus, and they have a revolutionary product named iDefend. We love it because it's a perfect example of a company and a group and a product or service that is creating more certainty in people's lives. And this is what they do. They basically replace multiple other products and services out there that are working to protect people on their identity and against this identity theft risks. They help protect devices, technology, finances, your household, so much more. I mean, I've been through the onboarding process with their team, and it's extensive. The areas that they protect and monitor, all in one app, all in one program. So you don't have to have 6 different subscriptions and be paying significantly more when you can do it all in one place. They're a US-based company. They have fantastic customer support. And so many of us, we need help. We need help walking us through things. We want a little bit of hand-holding in that area. We don't just want a login and a subscription and they say good luck, right? Or if you have a question, call Pakistan. They're there for you. That's not what iDefend is or what they offer. And so when we were introduced to James and his team, we immediately took note and said, we'd like to help with this. So James, maybe you can give a little bit more background in how Invisus came about, maybe your history leading up to us for those who didn't hear it before. We'll just do a quick intro and then we can get into some of the questions and topics we want to cover today.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm not a cybersecurity expert by design. I didn't go to college for this. I didn't plan on this. As an entrepreneur, one of my companies was hacked pretty hard and taken down. And this was 23 years ago or so, and 24 years ago. And it gave rise to this project, this mission of mine to go solve that problem. Back then, there were no easy solutions for a small business owner to keep hackers at bay and to stay safe when you're online. As the internet has evolved, that threat has spread to families, and protecting my own personal family as my kids were growing up became a personal mission for me as well. And everybody I knew was suffering from the same basic things. It's that unknown of, when I'm connected online, who is seeing me and who is tracking me and who has my information. I lived and breathed that as a young father and as an entrepreneur with my business. And then like any good entrepreneur, I sought to solve the problem. So I wanted to create more certainty in my life. And I realized, wow, there is a lot to be done out here in this space. And so this has been a 2 decades long plus love affair with this idea of protecting people against this. It has become core and central to me and my family and everybody I know as I've sort of become if you will, a disciple for good in this area. There's good and bad in the world everywhere, right? And you are either taking action to create a better, stronger, more powerful life, or you are being acted upon. And there was a time in my life when I felt like I was being acted upon in this area, and I didn't like that feeling. So I decided to do something about it. iDefend is our flagship program that you've brought up, Patrick, and our mission with that program and that service is to protect as many families, as many couples as we possibly can against the threats that are out there online. The digital age has connected us all together, and there are significant threats and risks that we all face. And most people don't know all of the threats and have become sitting ducks. And so this is a timely message. It's an important message for everybody to kind of keep their hands and their eyes and their ears open for. So it's a pleasure to be here, and I hope we can share some stories and talk about these important issues and how we solve these problems for ourselves.
I appreciate it, James. I think of this topic a little bit like the whole anti-trafficking movement, right? The anti-sex trafficking, child trafficking. I think we've all heard that it's a problem, but until you really start looking into it and really start exploring it, even trying to get involved, trying to lend a hand, organizations like A2 and Operation Underground Railroad, and some of these, one of their most important objectives is just awareness, right? Letting us know that it's a problem. Well, this is the same. And we've all heard that there is a lot of senior fraud. We know that identity theft is a problem. Even most of us at one point or another have had something hacked. And yet, Frank, you were talking just the other day on your show. Who was it that you were interviewing? And tell them the statistic of how much senior fraud, just talking about that senior sector, just how much there was and has been both reported and unreported. It's kind of staggering, to be honest.
Well, thank you, Patrick. I mean, I think it's significant in the fact that recently Congress had a hearing, a senatorial hearing, where they had, panelist, Scott Perrella, who's the deputy district attorney of San Diego, and his, signature line reads elder abuse prosecution. Now, when we talk about district attorneys across the United States and we talk about all the hoopla that's going on, here we got a guy that's totally focused in the county of San Diego on elder abuse. That speaks volumes in itself. But during his testimony to the senatorial committee, he revealed that seniors were being ripped off just in this country alone to the tune of well over $100 billion. Okay. Now that is unreported and needs to be reported. And along those lines, James, the show that we did, you and I, has, I think, hooked Scott Perello. And we're going to be bringing him on a show soon with hopefully you as guest as well. And more importantly, we're probably going to pull in the CEO of Senior Guide, who represents millions of seniors across the United States.
You know, you might have the record if you're on 4 times, James. I mean, I think I can count on one hand the number of guests I've had even twice. So you're
It's a sign of the times, Patrick. Come on.
There's something about how important this is, right?
Yep.
So Andy, you know, you're here as both a business owner and an executive. You've worked with seniors as well for many, many years in senior care and so forth. And you're a father with young children. I mean, as you think about this problem, I want to go into specifically what your own concerns are, but just from an executive perspective, right? From a industry perspective, is it a concern for seniors out there? Is it a concern for the people you've worked with, or do you think they're just oblivious to it?
Well, there are some that are oblivious, but that doesn't mean that they're not part of it, right? So, like James just said, it's a sign of the times where, you know, in the old days, you watch old movies or something, and people to try to, you know, the bad guys would go and rob banks physically, right? And nowadays, with all the technology we have, we can, you know, there's different ways to go about and do that without being like that actual physical bank or anything like that. And so they're trying to get a hold of us. And so, yeah, I've ran and operated senior care facilities for a long time. And I've been working with families, and I've seen people that have told stories of, you know, how they got attacked. And, you know, we have Frank here really representing the senior population for the people that he works with in businesses. But yeah, I've seen that firsthand, or at least secondhand, telling the stories, and I'm working with them, trying to help them recover or get help through government programs, so they can actually now afford to pay for the senior care of their loved ones. And then since I'm a family guy and I have 7 children, that's been a big concern to me, as just these signs of these times are continuing to grow and advance. And even when we first started, our first couple kids were like, you know, when they start begging for a cell phone because their friends had them, we were like, no, you don't need one yet. You don't need one yet. And at first it was like in high school or when they turned 16 or something like that. And the way the world's changed is that, you know, it's even in junior high, there's so much communication between not just their friend groups, but just for their team sports that they're on, or communications from their clubs at school or anything, even from their teachers, are coming through text. And so they, in a way, it's part of life that they have to have those. And so obviously that raises the alert for my wife and I on how we're going to keep our kids protected because of what people can do to try to get a hold and deceive not just the senior population, but the kids and because they don't have a full understanding of life yet, but they can think that they're communicating with somebody who they're not. And so there's a lot of protection. And that's why I'm very interested in working with James and his Invisus company and the iDefend product. I'm very impressed with it, and love to talk about it more and how it's helping my family.
You know, it's interesting because as we talk about, you know, whether it's identity theft, fraud, our technology being under attack, you know, I talk about anti-trafficking efforts. We are being barraged by these forces that are not only just evil, right? But they're smart, and they are crafty, and they are pervasive, and they are persistent. I was watching Rings of Power last night on Amazon with my wife. We've been watching this series, and this castle is just being barraged by these orcs, right? They're throwing, you know, they've got the fire. What do they call them? You know what I mean? When they're launching these huge boulders and they're attacking, they're climbing over the walls, and there's this huge battle going on. And I just thought that it's a visual manifestation or visual representation of what we are dealing with. To Andy's point, it's not just bank robbers coming in or bandits attacking a town. It's happening while we sleep. It's happening in very, very, I say pervasive, but very sneaky ways, right? Subtle ways, really. I say dangerous ways, but they're attacking us in ways that many of us don't even realize. When we look at someone like you as an expert in this industry, James, and everything you've learned, what are maybe the top 2 or 3 biggest concerns that consumers like us, whether we're a business owner, a family, a senior, whatever, what are the top 2 or 3 biggest concerns that we should be aware of, in your opinion?
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. The starting point, though, the baseline that you have to come from is we have put ourselves and the whole world into a position where this transformation to the digital age has opened up kind of a new pipeline of risks and threats that we're not super familiar with. Most people don't know what they don't know. And if you don't know what the bad guys know, you're the target. The castle is being stormed, whether you like it or not. You may have your drawbridge down. You may allow them just to walk right into the castle.
You have a big welcome sign out front, right?
Yeah. If you don't know what to look out for and you don't know the best practices, there's this missing skill set. And it's something you're witnessing this firsthand, where how many people do you know have the skill set to protect themselves or their family or their children or their business, et cetera, et cetera. Protecting their bank accounts, protecting their online presence, their personal information. The bad guys have a couple of goals in mind, right? This has all transitioned from just, kiddie play into for-profit criminal activity. And that's the big transfer that everybody has to understand, is that the bad guys are storming the castles. And what do they want? They really want 2 different things from each of us. And I'll say a third, but first of all, your information, your data, your social security number, your date of birth, your bank account information, your logins to your social media accounts, your logins to all of your investment funds and accounts. Okay, they want to capture your data because your data is worth gold. It's the currency of trade among cyber thieves. It's your data. It's everything about you. It's your profile. 100%. But what are they going to do with that? What are they going to do with it? They're going to take your money. So there's 2 motivations. They want your data and they want your money. And they're going to do everything they can to take what they can from you. They don't need to rob a bank. All they have to do is just go through the front door of your digital house. And literally, we've left them wide open. If you don't have that skill set to know how to defend yourself, you're just a sitting duck. The third area of risk I'll point out is kid safety. So you've got your personal information at risk, you have your money, your financial accounts at risk, but you also have kids at risk. And this is a growing topic of concern at all levels of education and in the government and among church groups. It's how do we stem the tide of this digital world and the risks that are coming with the digital world to kids. And the big talking points there's a few of them. One, online predators. There are 500,000 predators a day, according to the FBI, out online looking for their next victim. And that's a much larger number than people involved in sex trafficking of kids or trafficking minors across borders. This digital risk of predators befriending a kid on a video game and then grooming them and then ultimately setting up a meeting at a park or the movie theater or the mall where the kid is then taken. This is the new crime of the century here in America for families that they have to deal with. And if you don't know how to get in front of that, you have a high chance of having your child being groomed by a predator and the potential of having them be affected with a physical crime, not just a digital crime. So predators online is a real deal. You have 45-year-old men acting like 12-year-old girls. And you've heard the stories, right? This is unfortunately the world we live in. Wait till AI kicks in and virtual reality, right? Now wait and see who's befriending who online, and you'll never know who is who and what's true and what's not. It's going to become increasingly challenging for families to get in front of this and protect their kids. So predators is one, bullying is another. All this, it's so easy to be anonymous or not anonymous and bully somebody online. And that leads you to other big trending things happening with kids. One is the mental health issues that kids are facing, depression rates, suicide rates are skyrocketing. Since the advent of the cell phone and the internet going into people's homes, roughly 2005, 2007, a 62% increase of suicides among teens since then.
Wow.
And you can extrapolate and put the numbers together however you want, but all of these digital threats are out there, and the question is, what are we doing about it? How many people are prepared to stem the tide of these orcs coming across the castle walls into our own homes? And what are we doing here? It's a scary thing for me. I realized this years ago and decided to do something about it. And that's why we're here talking about it. So kudos to you guys for helping tell the story and making sure people get the tools they need.
Yeah, you're raising a valid point here, James, because since we did my show, I thought a lot about what we talked about. And Patrick, you're a fisherman, right? So I'm going to grab this analogy, right? You got 500,000 predators out there, right, James? Well, Let's equate them to fishermen, okay? And if I took you to Lake Superior, which is the second largest lake on the planet Earth, and I said that was the baby boomers, 75 million births, right? Just here in the United States alone. And it happened all across this world, right? So the senior community makes up this. And now we find out that over 10,000 seniors happen every single day. There's 10,000 people turning 65 in this country every day. So you got a tributary that is feeding this massive lake out here of prospects and 500,000 fishermen. You tell me where they're going to go fish. They're not going to fish in a pool that has no prey. They're going to fish where they can get prey. And then on top of that, you've got the situation where they got a tackle box, right? So they're going to keep coming up with different baits, right? So maybe they get caught in one arena and they're going to bait that hook a different way to catch a different fish in a different manner. And this is where the scary piece comes in. How do you eliminate the fishermen from being on the bank?
Well, and I have as you were talking, James, I was thinking about what you do and what iDefend is and how it, as a tool to help us protect our businesses, our families, our finances, et cetera, our children. I thought of another series that I've watched. Sound like I watch TV all the time, but it's kind of like what we do in the evening when we're winding down. My wife has some health issues, and so we're not out hiking and biking and things like that as much. But one of the series I've been watching is called SEAL Team, and it's about Bravo team of Navy SEALs and the different experiences they have. And it's fun watching because they have superior equipment to most of their adversaries, right? They have their night vision goggles and and ISR and all these other things that give them an edge, even though their competition, right? The enemy is vicious, they're dangerous, they're committed. They still are able to have an edge. And that's because they have superior tools. They have superior technology. That's what I love about iDefend and what you've created and what you're offering your customers. When I saw it, and I was surprised it wasn't a lot more expensive than it is, but it's having a tool, a technology package, and company supporting it for those of us who want the hand-holding, right? A lot of seniors out there who they're like, I work with seniors. It's they're hard pressed to turn their computer on, let alone do much else with it. But I love them. But having that tool or that technology, those night vision goggles, does make a difference. And you have to have it. Otherwise, you're sitting there with your castle, with your welcome sign out front, right?
Absolutely. Let me just put it into real numbers for you on this. To have your battle plan or your defense plan today, there's 20 to 25 different tools or instruments you should have in your hands, right? There are 20 to 25 different things you should be doing right now to defend yourself and your family. How many people know what those are. Do you have those tools in your hands? Is somebody helping you set those up and configure them so that they work right for you and that they're alerting you when there's danger, right? That to put your digital defense plan together, it takes a little bit of effort. And a lot of people struggle with this, and rightly so. It's complicated. It's time consuming. To create your own digital defense plan, that's hard because everybody's needs are different. You know, one set of grandparents is different from another. One family with kids is different from another. Your investments are different. Your travel plans are different. Your digital life is different. Some people love digital, some people don't, but you're still at risk, right? You have to come up with your digital defense plan. And so it's helpful to have experts put the plan together for you and then help you set everything up and configure it and maintain it and alert you. And we see going forward that there's really not a lot of options. You can try to do it yourself and spend countless hours on YouTube trying to figure out how to be your own digital cyber guardian for your castle, or you can outsource it and have some of the experts, you know, on hand guarding your walls for you and, you know, closing the moat and putting alligators in it, you know, and all. That is how you're going to survive this thing, is if you get experts. You know, I don't know how you don't win wars without superior technology and tools. I don't know how you defend your home without that. A lot of people put home cameras up, they put their door locks on, their Ring doorbells on. But man, if you look at it from a digital viewpoint, your home is like Swiss cheese. Your digital life is like Swiss cheese. And we have to start closing those holes. There's 20 to 25 different things that everybody should be doing right now. So to overcome the challenge of, I don't have the time, I don't know where to start, where do I go? It's like, well, find experts who can help you. That's where we're at.
Andy, you just went through his process setting your family up. I mean, I was blown away by how much was involved. Not how difficult it was, because it was very easy. And I actually had an appointment with your team who walked me through it. I'm pretty technically savvy, but still, he pointed some things out and gave me some tips, and it was really easy. I mean, was that your experience as well, Andy? I know you just went through it not too long ago.
Yeah. Thank you. Because I was just about to chime in and comment after James' last comment, because talking about, you know, awareness to me is everything. And, you know, my experience in working with seniors, and they're so trusting. And when they get taken advantage of, and they'll just say, well, he promised, he told me he'd do this, you know, and then they just get credit card numbers or they get social security numbers and disappear, right? And same thing with our kids. And this has been very good for me, because I'm more of a trusting person. I've been trained where I love people and I try to see the good in them. And I believe, you know, for the most part, most people do have good in them, even on their rough days. But this is a whole different category that we're talking about here, where people are viciously out to get you. And it's hard for me to imagine that there would be a 40, 50-year-old guy acting like a 12-year-old girl. But I know that because of what I'm studying, what I'm a parent, what I care about. But my 12-year-old girl doesn't know that. She's not going to think that way. So awareness is huge. And so when I was originally, you know, interested just because of your own, you know, you hear the identity theft, protecting your own social security number, your own things like that. But then as we continued to work with James and learn more about how he's protecting the whole family, that meant everything to me. And so I got involved and they have a whole section on digital parenting and, you know, guides that you can go through and tips for parenting. And it goes through everything from the cyberbullying, how to, you know, what online predators are, what they do. And then this is helping with all the awareness, because there's so many things that, to me, the natural human mind should not be thinking that way. Or, you know, but since it's out there, we need to be aware of it. And we need to learn how to identify those predators, and then how to communicate with our children the right way to help them identify, and how to set up protections on their phone, whether we're setting up physical things or just talking to them, letting them know we understand, we're there for them. I mean, there's topics on every single one of them. And the best thing, not only are those there for you online and help you with that awareness and education to help you with your children to set up your own family plan, but it's not digital. It's not only digital, and it's not like a call center that, you know, you just don't know who you're going to get. I mean, iDefend is backed by real people that know this information just as good as you're hearing James talk about it. They know the statistics. They know what's going on out there. And they walked me through it and told me where to find different things or articles that I could read or things I could print out and go over with my wife. So in our family meetings, we can discuss these things and set up those protocols to help protect our family. So it's real, and they're there for you. And then they even invited me to call back anytime. It's not just like, you get a setup call and then that's it. You're on your own. No, they're really there to help you set up your specific family plan. Just like James said, everyone's family is different. Grandparents are different. Everything's different. So you have to set it up exactly for you. And so I was blown away by the level of service that they gave me.
100%. We are up against our first and only break in the show. We're going to let our sponsors look at you. You look at them. We'll be back with you in just a minute with James Harrison from iDefend, Andy Tenney, and Frank Helring. Don't go away.
Follow Voice America at Facebook.com/Voice America for juicy updates from your favorite radio shows and podcasts.
Certainty Management can help create more certainty in your life with our deep discount health insurance options, even for 1099s, part-time employees, volunteers, and more. Pay less to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your team. Call 888-684-3122 for a free quote today. That's 888-684-3122. Visit us on the web at CertaintyTeam.com. That's Certainty, TEAM, like Mary.com.
Have you become a member yet? Sign up now to become a member of Voice America. It's always free and easy. Plus, you get to take advantage of some great member benefits. Get unlimited access to millions of hours of on-demand content across all of our channels. Keep track of your favorite episodes, shows, and hosts in your own customizable library. Find out what shows you might be interested in based on your favorites. Plus, you get insider access with our newsletter. Membership gives you more. Sign up at voiceamerica.com and click register at the top right.
If you're a nonprofit in need of funding, we can help. Certainty Management is a cost reduction firm that also helps churches, schools, sports teams, and other nonprofits raise unlimited zero-cost funding. Best of all, you don't have to sell anything or ask for donations. Call 888-684-3122 to learn more today. That's 888-684-3122. Visit us on the web at CertaintyTeam.com. That's Certainty, TEAM, like Mary.com.
When it comes to business, you'll find the experts here. Voice America Business Network.
You are listening to Finding Certainty with Patrick Lang. Have a question for Patrick or his guests? Join us on the show at 866-472-5790. That's 866-472-5790. Now, back to the show with Patrick.
And we're back. We're visiting with James Harrison. He's the founder of Invisus. It's a Utah-based company with an extraordinary product named iDefend that we've been discussing. And during the break, we were talking about just how easy it was to get set up. We're each customers, myself and Andy and Frank, and we've all gone through that process. Not only was I surprised by how simple it was and straightforward, but also how robust. I mean, how much was in there? I had no idea it was as extensive as it is, James. In fact, you said something during the break that I think is really interesting. Maybe just talk about the technical support, because I had no idea that was included, and I was really excited about that.
Yeah. I mean, when you talk cyber and technology and digital, a lot of this stuff can be real overwhelming real fast. But we are in a high-tech world, so a lot of people struggle with supporting and maintaining their technology in their own home. And so we've included our legendary technical support service that we've had for 2 decades, where we literally are your on-demand experts for anything tech in your house. So your printer goes down, your email isn't working, you can't play a video on your computer, you're trying to connect to a chat with a friend and it's not working, a PowerPoint isn't loading, whatever. It's all taken care of. You don't pay anything for it. It's just a part of our service. And why do we include that? Because technology is hard. And cybersecurity is a part of technical support. Technical support is a part of cybersecurity. You can't really have one without the other. When we built iDefend, we really hit home at all the hard things that people try to do on their own, but it's really hard to do it. And so people just give up and get complacent and don't do anything about it. And then they become victims. They run into problems. So we went and hit head on all the key things that people have a hard time with. And if you want, I can tell you, like in each of the core areas, what we do to solve those hard problems. But that what you brought up is a great example. Technical support. Who would have thought that you could get that unlimited, on demand, no cost, just call up for help? Our customers love that part of our service.
Well, as I said before at the beginning, this is replacing multiple other services that many people are spending hundreds of dollars a month for, all in one package. It's less than $100 a month that provides not just the peace of mind, but the protection and the confidence that I think so many of us look for. I mean, in our company, one of our mantras is profit, protection, and peace of mind. And you cover all of those, right? As a business owner, I've a major cyber attack or an attack on my identity, that can be really impactful on my profitability. Obviously, what you do is protect us and our families and our digital lives, and then peace of mind. If we don't have those protections in place, it's like I think of it. I'm a big fan of hiring experts to do what experts do. I can't imagine going through a divorce without a divorce attorney, or going through to represent myself in court, or trying to do my own sprinkler system. I mean, there are those out there who have that skill set, but most of us don't. And to try to do it ourselves, we might be able to patch it together to some degree, but it's probably going to be spraying in the wrong direction and making a puddle in the back corner. It just will not. You will not have the results that you want to have. I have a question for Frank, because as a senior, especially, I was joking a little bit about all my senior colleagues who work with us, and I play a lot of technical support for them, right? but really, I'm right, Frank? I mean, whether seniors or anyone, if you're frustrated and you're not sure what to do, most of us just don't do it, right? We just throw our hands up in the air, or get frustrated, or go try calling one of our grandchildren or our kids to help us. And like a 12-year-old might be able to help you turn your phone back on, but they're not going to help protect your identity. So any thoughts on that from our senior standpoint?
Well, you got to understand, Patrick, that, seniors got upset when the push button phone went away, So, you've got this situation where, if it's not up and close and personal, right, then they don't pay too much attention to it. And now here comes the virtual world, which is totally distanced from them, right? They can't get their arms around it. You said it spot on, right? They're just now coming on to this wavelength that, we got to pay attention to this. But I think the most important thing here, James, is a word picture. We're on radio right now, so nobody's looking at us, except we are videoing the show for playback later. But I'm going to say that, how would you feel if you went out to dinner some night, came back to your house, and found out it had been ransacked? We do have things called home invasion today, right? What would that emotion look like? What would it feel like that you walk back into your perfectly ordered home and it's been ransacked? That's exactly what we're talking about here with this incredible invasion. It's a home invasion. I've got ADT on my house here, 360 cameras at any one point in day. But guess what? You just said it. I got Swiss cheese here in this multi-million-dollar house here on the golf course, James. And let me tell you something. I have a lot to lose. And there's a lot of seniors out there that have a lot to lose and don't realize how quick they can lose it.
Yep.
Well, and it's so devastating emotionally. It leads to health problems, mental health problems, even desperation, right? We have a very good friend of ours in Arkansas who was recently hacked, and they took all of the money from his accounts. They completely messed up his computer. To the point that his son, who's a former sheriff, got the Homeland Security involved. They came and took his computer as part of their investigation. So he had to go get a new computer even. But it was so devastating for him. And he's 80 years old. He's in his 80s, right? It's just the nicest guy who would give you the shirt off his back. He cares for the widows in his church. He serves everyone. And here's some SOB from Jamaica or somewhere who has just destroyed him. It's very frustrating for me because we talk about trafficking as the fastest growing criminal enterprise in the world. Well, this is right behind it, and it is not just those overt attacks that we hear. It is subtle, it is quiet, it is behind the scenes, but then when it happens, it is devastating. What questions do you have for us, James? We represent these three different sectors, but how many questions for us, for Andy as a father, or Frank as a senior, me as a business owner? What would you say?
What do you think has kept you from taking this all seriously? You've each gone through a sort of a period of awakening through this connection with us. What was it that kept you from really building your own personal digital defense plan for you and your family? Or did you? And then how is it different now?
Let me go first, and then let's have you go, Andy, if that's all right. We'll end with you, Frank. For me, it's just time, right? I'm busy. I mean, I know it's an issue. It's not that I don't even think it's because I wasn't aware or wasn't concerned. It's that I, one, didn't know where to start, and two, didn't have much time to think about it, right? And so it's like this weighing, it's like this millstone on your back, right? It's like it's always there. It's always weighing on you. It's on your mind, but you feel helpless. And I got to go get payroll done, so I don't really have time to think about it. I hope nothing happens, right? That's where I think so many business owners and just individuals are coming from. I mean, Andy, what about you? Why haven't you done more? As I know how much you love your children, I know what a great father you are, but where do you fit into it?
Yeah, mine is probably threefold. One is that, like I mentioned before, I'm a little. I can be too trusting of people and just not realize how much is going on behind the scenes or that could go on. And so some of it is just ignorance and ignoring. And some of it goes into that awareness part of it. And the third one is like you talked about, Patrick. We're busy. I've been an entrepreneur. I've ran big businesses. I've had a lot of responsibilities, a lot of employees under me, and we're constantly just going and going. And when I get home, it's family time. And my wife is awesome. She takes care of everything, but there's always a lot of plans and a lot of different kids activities, whether there's going somewhere as a family or just the normal day-to-day with activities after school, sports, clubs, whatever else they're in. So you're just busy. But it goes back to that awareness and really realizing what is going on out there, and to spark that interest in myself of like, okay, I got to take some time to do this. And that's what working with James and iDefend has really helped me to see to a whole nother level. And like I said, it's really my own personality, because I have a brother who's, we're very similar in some ways, but he's always taken this more seriously than I have, and has been on top of this a lot more than I have. So I'm grateful for James and iDefend coming into my life, because it's helped me to see that this really is happening. And I'm not being a good parent in some ways, I feel, if I'm not really doing all these things to help protect my kids, because we do the little things, but like you said, just hoping nothing big will happen. But I feel a lot more confident now knowing that what they have and the education they have and the support system they have and how easy it is to work with them. The onboarding was phenomenal, and the communication was phenomenal, just to be able to have more protection and confidence of just something does happen. We can defend this. We can work through this. We can help our kids stay out of it, but then also work through it if something does try to happen. So
I think it's safe to say, and I think we'd all agree that we'd much rather head off a problem before it happens and have that foresight, right? Have those protections in place than wish we had when it's too late, right? It's like insurance, right? There was a time when I had a major surgery and I didn't have insurance at the time, and trust me, I sure wished I had, right? I mean, I can't even imagine how a family would recover from wishing their child had been protected who ends up getting trafficked or something. I mean, it will destroy a family. And so I think it's even irresponsible to not protect yourself in this way. It's like not carrying car insurance and driving around town. It's absolutely irresponsible. It's dangerous to those you care for and dangerous to others as well. And I think we need to realize that when we talk about awareness, this isn't a question of, it might be nice to have, I might consider this. This is something we absolutely should unequivocally have in our lives.
Yeah, and hinging on your awareness point, and Andy, you said it as well. I think in the senior community, it's a large part of being misinformed. Okay, I mean, this hearing that just happened with the Senate. I mean, where's CNN? Where's ABC? Where's NBC? Where's CBS? And all of this. Seniors watch TV like religiously, right? Every single day for entertainment. They got wide screens of these, and there's cubicles all across America. Where is the copy, right? The other thing is false sense of security. Wait a minute. Don't we have an FBI? Don't we have a Federal Communications Commission? Don't we have all these people that are supposed to be protecting us? Homeland Security? That's another story, okay? But the bottom line here is it's a false sense of security. This couldn't possibly happen to me. And when it does, what do you think happens at the local senior center? It's like a tidal wave happening. So I think really what you're dealing with here is that seniors who are retired or even still working, not thinking this could ever happen to them.
Well, we grow up trusting, right? We talk about the good old days, and your generation, Frank, grew up in, I think, safer times, more trusting times. I can relate with you, Andy, of being trusting. I used to have a lot of blind faith in people. Went through a couple of divorces, got scammed out of some money by a Swiss banker at one point. I've been burned. I'm a lot more jaded than I used to be. But I've also learned that we can still enjoy certainty in our lives. We can still have peace of mind if we have the safeguards in place, if we have the protections. James, you work with a lot of customers in this space. You're helping a lot of people develop that certainty, find that certainty in their own lives and families and businesses. What's the feedback you're getting from people? Is there anything that stands out to you that has made a difference for them, maybe more than anything else?
Yeah, having someone to trust, I think, is one of the biggest consistencies across all of our customers for all these years that we've been doing this. When you find someone you can trust with your privacy, meaning keeping your information private or protecting kids or protecting your money, your identity, your credit, protecting your computer, your smartphone. When you find somebody who knows that and you can trust, you never let it go. It becomes a lifelong relationship of trust. And in today's world, trust is an asset. Trust is sought after. There's so much misinformation or no information at all. There's so much noise out there that people just aren't hearing the important and critical things. And so when you have a trusted relationship, it's magical today. We're committed as a company that we're not going to be run by robots someday, right? A lot of our counterparts in this industry and a lot of industries across America are now trying to use AI and the advancements of technology to create more efficiencies. And I will tell you, the big fear I have as a CEO of a company is the side effect of losing that trusted relationship one-on-one, belly to belly or face to face like this. When you lose that, we lose a little bit of our humanity. And it's a scary thing because you watch your kids doing the same thing. Your kids are online now and they're losing a little bit of their humanity by not playing in a park or playing on a sports team. They just have this weird virtual relationship. And so trust is shattering in today's digital world. And so our customers love the fact that they can pick up the phone and within 10 to 15 seconds, they're talking to a trusted person that they've been using for a while, that tens of thousands of other people already use and trust. That's a big deal. And then to not have to go do a bunch of work to find out what the right technologies are, what kind of monitoring I should have, that's another huge thing that we hear from our customers. It's like, just tell me what I need to do to stay safe. And then, oh, by the way, can you set it up for me? Can you configure it for me? I don't want to have to be the expert in this space. Can you do it for me? That's the other big thing we hear is, I trust you, but I don't have the time or the expertise. So can you do it for me?
Yeah, I love that. That was probably my favorite thing about your whole program, James, because I don't have the time and I don't have that background. And I know, and I think there's a lot of people out there, millions of people out there who may be listening to this show who feel the same way. And if we don't know what to do, if we don't know where to start, and we don't know the answers to our questions, it's so easy to just set it aside. I'll get to that later, right? We've all done that. We sit and stare at the bookshelf we're supposed to be putting together, but the instructions weren't very clear, so it sits there for a month, right? Same thing here. I mean, what you've accomplished with iDefend, and I love your name, by the way, is you've created a process and a program, a product that addresses those concerns and makes it easy. I mean, that's might be your biggest selling point, right? That it is easy, whether it's for a young father, or whether a busy business person or a senior. You know, there's a movie that came out recently called The Beekeeper, and it was Jason Statham. You know, you might be familiar with it. He goes in and he has a friend who's been very good to him, a senior elderly lady who is scammed by a company. They take everything from her. Even they were even able to hack her account on the board that she sat on for a nonprofit and take the millions of dollars that were sitting in their bank account. And she ends up taking her life because of it. She's so overwhelmed by it. Well, he goes and, seeks retribution. Well, we can't necessarily do that, but we can is head off the problems of the past, stop them before they happen, and let every person we know that they can do it too. I think we all, not only do we have a responsibility to protect our own households and our own loved ones, but we, just like with anti-trafficking, just like with protecting our children in those ways, we have a responsibility to preach it from the rooftops and let everyone know that it's out there. We've got to work collectively to stem this tide. Otherwise, it's never going to happen, right? They're too big. They're too strong. There's too many of them out there that are attacking that castle. I remember the word catapult. They're using their catapult to hurl boulders at us, and we're left exposed, and our friends and loved ones in our communities are exposed as well. If we just protect ourselves and don't tell our friends, I think we're doing them a disservice. Andy, as you are raising your family, you've got 7 children. They have a lot of friends, right? You've got friends from church. You've got this neighborhood with beautiful homes, and every single one of them is exposed. Any more thoughts, Andy, on, as a father, what are your biggest concerns, if you will? We are coming up on the end of the show, so make it quick. We've only got a couple more minutes, but what's your biggest concern as you go to sleep at night with regards to this topic?
Yeah, my biggest concern is just how rampant cell phones are and social media. The time the kids that you can waste on it, but then the predators that know that kids are on it and what they're trying to do, and then really learning how good they can act as a local teenage friend and try to get them to say things or do things, and eventually get a friendship, and that could lead to meeting them or meeting at a park or the mall. It's a typical thing that teenagers would love to do. So that's my biggest fear. And so the guidance from iDefend is huge for our family, and my wife and I are talking about and discussing with our kids. And then not only just the don't do this kids, they do it in a way that is full of love too, and understanding. So it's professionally done and done with empathy and passion and compassion.
I agree. I mean, I'm amazed by my son, who's now 18. I'm not as worried about him, but he has friends all over the country that he's met through Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok. And it's rampant, right? Close us out, James. Is there any last thought you'd like to share? And then maybe just share what the website is so people know how to get a hold of you. We got about 1 more minute here.
Yeah, you bet. if you are concerned about these things as you all are, those listening or watching, you can get a personalized protection plan for yourself and your loved ones. That we provide that for you. That's the good news. And within that plan, you're going to get everything you need, all the technologies, the monitoring, the hands-on assistance, the one-on-one care from our US-based call center, right?
And the technical support, my favorite part.
And the technical support, right? You're going to get everything you need. You'd spend a couple $100 to $300 a month on your own trying to do what we do. But through our 20 plus years of history and our bulk purchasing and the economies of scale, we're able to deliver this for a lot less money than you'd try and do it on your own. So you don't have to be the expert. You're going to get a plan. You're going to have everything covered, from all the money, the privacy, the kids, the devices, everything. And you do it for a lot less than you can do it for. For the listeners here, our service retails for $97 a month. Which is, less than half what you'd pay if you try to do this on your own. So it's an amazing opportunity to get a personalized plan with everything in it for $97 a month. But if you use the promo code CERTAINTY for your team here, you can save 30% off of that and get it for $67 a month. So that's an incredible price and value for what you're getting. And as with all of our, we've always done, you can try it 2 weeks for free, 14 days free, no money out of pocket. It's a 30-day money-back guarantee, no contract. It's an awesome way to get started. We want to help protect you and your family, and we want to make it easy to get started.
Everyone go to iDefendHome.com to check it out. Get your 2-week trial. Get the Certainty discount. Remember to use the promo code Certainty. We are out of time. Have a great weekend, everybody. Certainty is out there. You can find it. We can help. iDefend can help. We wish the very best. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next week here on Finding Certainty.
Thanks for tuning into today's episode of Finding Certainty. We hope you've gained some more insight into how to create more certainty in your own business or nonprofit. Join us next week for another taste of the Certainty Experience. Until then, we wish you greater certainty in all that you do.